Welcome to Take Notice. I'm your host, Dan Lawson. Well, there's a new chancellor at the San Mateo County Community College District, but he's not a new face. We are very honored to be talking today to Mike Clare. Congratulations on your appointment, Mike.
Thanks, Dan. I'm looking forward to talking to you today.
Yeah. So why were you drawn to this job?
Well, it was interesting. I've actually been with the district. I'll be completing my 32nd year. And almost that entire time I was at College of San Mateo. And the last 13 years, I actually served as the president of the college. And I absolutely loved being the president of CSM. And just before the start of the semester, I was asked by our board to serve as the acting chancellor of our district. And so I accepted that assignment, and it was wonderful because it gave me an opportunity to really kind of assess the job and whether it was the right job and whether I might be the right fit for the position. It was a national search, and I'm honored that the board actually selected me. I felt like the reason why I decided to apply is because I felt like the campus or the district community and our board needed to sort of have a choice between someone who had been in the district a long time, myself obviously, and maybe somebody from the outside. And I was perfectly comfortable with whatever direction that they wanted to take, but I wanted to give them that choice. And then from a selfish standpoint, I was ready for a new challenge. And this is definitely a job with a lot of new challenges for me, especially now.
Especially now. Boy, did you walk into
Yeah.
a real interesting time for colleges, universities, any educational establishment.
Absolutely.
So not only that, though, Mike, you began your career as a student in the San Mateo Community College district at Cañada College.
Mm-hmm.
And then you joined as a faculty member, later became a dean and vice president. And so during your tenure at the College of San Mateo, the college was named as an Aspen Institute Top 150 community college in our nation. What has been your most cherished accomplishment, and what will be your focus as chancellor?
Great, thank you so much. And I'm really proud of that Aspen Top 150 designation. Aspen Institute is a highly recognized organization that really takes a data-focused approach in assessing institutions, and that designation puts College of San Mateo in the top 15% of the community colleges in the nation. Although I will tell you that Skyline and Cañada are outstanding, and really, they could have easily been in that top 15%, and they probably will be it's just a matter of time. As I look back on my career, particularly as president, I think what I'm most proud of, a lot of people talk about the construction and the beauty of the campus, and I was honored to have the opportunity to work with our college community and helping rebuild the campus from a structural standpoint. But to be honest with you, what I'm most proud of is when I became president, I knew that we were going to see a lot of changeover, a lot of retirements among our faculty, 100% turnover in our administration, and I wanted to be that person that had the chance to not only rebuild the campus physically, but really rebuild the campus in terms of its people. And in my 13 years, I did the math on this. I was the final decision maker on 70% of our faculty hires. So 70% of the full-time faculty that are there right now, I was in the room in final interviews with those faculty, with others, of course, and 100% of the administration of that college. And the administration, through retirements and other things, has actually turned over 3 times in those 13 years. So I've seen a lot of change, and I'm really proud of it. And I think what we're really noted for, and we were certainly recognized, we were just had our accreditation visit last fall, independent peer review team. One of the things that really stood out to them was just a great environment, an environment of collaboration, an environment of trust. And that's when you see something like the Aspen 150 award, it wasn't something I did, it was something that the campus did. And my job as a leader was really to kind of help create that culture to allow that sort of thing to happen.
And you have your thumbprint on it, and it's well deserved, your accomplishments and your
Thank
appointment. I hadn't been to CSM for years, and I was up there last year and been a couple times. I could not believe the transformation, how beautiful, number one, physically that campus is. It looks like a top-notch higher ed campus, and not only that, but the educational institution is so well respected. And so a wonderful job on both ends. It has to look good, but there has to be a lot of good stuff going on inside, and there is.
Very true. And you know, now that I'm chancellor, I've had a chance to take a much closer look at both Skyline and Kenyatta. And you can say the same thing about those two campuses. They've both been transformed, not only in the beauty of their campuses, but just excellent high quality educational institutions as well. I think as residents of this county, we should be really proud of all three of our community colleges.
Absolutely. So you touched on it a little bit already, but how will all three colleges on the San Mateo County better the lives of all students through access to all with a focus on success?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think it's the question that, you know, if you spend a career in education, particularly in the community colleges, that's a question that you're constantly trying to answer. You know, if you look at the history of community colleges, it was funny because we're coming up, CSM is coming up on its 100th year. And I was welcoming the new faculty to CSM this year, and I realized I've been there almost a third of its history. So I've seen a lot of history. And when you look at the community colleges, we've always been about access. We're easily accessible. You can start, stop anytime you want. You know, certainly the tuition has gone up over the years, but it's still incredibly affordable. We all know that. So we've always been about access. I think that the new opportunity, or not new, but the opportunity and challenge with access is to make sure that every member of our community knows that this is a higher education destination for them, and particularly those that, particularly our first generation college students. We have so many first generation college students now that graduate. It's wonderful to see. So we've always been about access, and I think the more difficult issue for us to continue to work on is student success. And this is true if you could talk to any community college president or chancellor or any faculty member, and they would say the same thing. It is really being highly mindful of what it's going to take for us and what kind of institution we have to be in order for our students to be successful. We talk about colleges being student ready now, rather than students being college ready. We know students are college ready, but the challenge in front of all of us is to understand our students and understand what their needs are, because our students are coming to us, and this shouldn't be a shock, but our students are coming to us with such a diverse set of needs that, you know, I was a community college student. I didn't face the challenges that so many of our students face today. So to be successful, we have to be very mindful of the things that we have under our control that can help our students be as successful as they can be.
Spot on, which leads into the next question. Can you please just talk a little bit about the Promise Scholars Program, and how do you help students achieve their goals?
Yeah, that's a great segue. So we're very proud of the Promise Scholars Program. It is a program that is modeled after a very successful program out of City College of New York, or the CUNY system. In fact, our district is an official replication site. And I won't get into the details, but we actually received a state grant to really replicate that model, not only in our district, but, you know, ultimately across the state. And it's basically what I've just said. You know, if you look at community colleges, we have a number of programs in place already where we know they work because our students are successful. So I'll give you something simple. Our athletics programs, our students, if you look at their transfer rates, we have very successful athletic teams across the district, but our students go on to transfer, they're very successful. And the reason why they're successful is because they get an incredible amount of support. We have a number of other programs like that, such as our special learning communities and other special programs where there's an incredible amount of support and guidance from our faculty and staff for those students. The problem is, and I've said this as a president, is we're positioned to help, you know, hundreds of students like that when we actually need to help thousands. So what do you do for those other students that are coming to us that may not be athletes, or may not be interested in a learning community, or may not qualify for extra help? And this is where the Promise Scholars Program does a beautiful job, because it's meant to scale up and help those thousands of students be successful. And our preliminary results are really exciting and really mapped to the CUNY program. So a lot of people get excited about the financial help that's available. You get free tuition, you get help. I think it's up to, I want to say it's $750 a year for textbooks. You get help to address food insecurity. So you get all that financial help, and people get excited about that. But the real value of the program is the student support that we've layered into the program. So if you look at our most community college counseling models, and they're built off the K-12 models, usually it's a 500 to 1 counselor to student ratio. And that's our typical ratio. And our counselors do a fantastic job. But 500 to 1 is a lot of students to keep track of. And this particular model, the ratio is 150 to 1. And what that does is it allows us to really get these students connected to counselors, get them connected to other staff. We have staff members called retention specialists. So if we monitor these students and they're starting to fall behind, we start working with them immediately, and we really try and we do everything we can to intervene to keep them from sort of falling behind or failing or dropping out of school. That's the part that I'm most excited about with the Promise Scholars Program, and the part that I think for our students is a game changer.
Sounds like a wonderful program. And I know now with the job of Chancellor, what comes with it is a crystal ball, I'm sure. And so I'm asking you this next question about plans for classes during the summer and fall seasons. And I know how difficult of an answer that's going to be, being currently employed at a university myself. But
Right.
So will there be classes on campus or off-site teleconferencing? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, great question. We actually have been discussing this with our board, and of course it's the board that has the final authority on this. But our recommendation, and this will actually come up with our June 10th meeting, we're already messaging it to students. First of all, summer classes will continue in this online mode. We felt it was important to make that decision early so students could plan accordingly, so that our faculty and staff could plan accordingly. And so that's a for sure. There are certain classes that have to be in person. It's hard to run a nursing lab virtually, right? You actually have to run those labs in person. So what we're doing is we are working with faculty in programs that are difficult to convert to online, and they're primarily in our allied health areas, but there's some other areas as well. And actually, we're bringing some of those classes or programs back on campus this summer so they can finish up from this spring. And we've got to be careful to maintain all the health protocols and the social distancing. For fall, at any given time in any one campus, I think I think we're about a 22, 23,000 student institution, and in normal times. And so at any given time, we have at each campus about 5,000 people. And to maintain social distancing, this is just one campus, and to maintain social distancing, if we have to take temperature check, whatever we're going to have to do, we came to the conclusion that we're not going to be able to do that. So we've made the recommendation to our board, and they we'll finalize this on June 10th, to remain primarily in a distance mode for the fall. It's interesting because we had our board meeting a day after the CSU made this same announcement. And it's really a practical matter. But we're also being very mindful of those classes that really cannot be taught in a distance mode. And we do have plans to bring certain classes, certain programs back on campus. It may be a handful of students at a time, but we want to make sure that those students have an opportunity to complete their programs or participate in programs. So I know it's a long-winded answer.
Yeah.
We've been on it since March 16th. We've looked at this from every angle, and I think this is the right decision that we're making.
And it changes hourly.
Yeah. So,
but
yeah.
So, with having said that, do you think that you, the Board of Trustees, will be getting any pushback from students that are saying they have to pay for classes that are off-site and teleconferencing? Is it having an effect of class registrations, that type of thing?
Sure, no, that's a fair question.
Yeah.
You know, I haven't heard anything yet. If anything, what we're hearing is, and this is anecdotal, but we're hearing that students that had been accepted to four-year universities and were planning to go away are actually reconsidering and thinking, you know what, maybe if I have to be home anyway, maybe I'll go to my local community college. And the irony there, and of course I'm a little biased, all three of my children went to CSM and then transferred. But the irony is sometimes if you don't get into your first choice institution, you actually have a better chance of getting into that institution starting with us, because it's all GPA driven. So you have a high GPA, you're going to pretty much get to go where you want to go. So if anything, we're hearing that. I think, you know, we do serve international students, and I've heard a little bit of concern from international students about, you know, because they do pay a differential fee. Gee, you know, because this is online, you know, this wasn't the experience necessarily that I was interested in. And so we may hear more about that, but from the general student population, I haven't heard anything yet. Certainly students are disappointed. I think most of our students would prefer to be on campus, but everybody understands. They really do. The students have been great throughout this whole situation.
We'll get there.
Yeah,
it just
that's
might
right.
take a little while. Now, I know all three colleges are easy to access, and have you talked a little bit about that already? And how many classes do they offer? Do you have classes that students can graduate with bachelor degrees? I know they had been talking about that a while back, and I know there's a couple of questions in here, but about what percentage of students who are graduated from our district colleges move on to higher education institutions, which you just commented on. So I can repeat those questions if you need.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think I've got it. This is a very rough number, but I would say that in a given semester, not including summer, but our fall and spring semesters among the three colleges, we usually offer somewhere in the neighborhood of probably 2,300 individual sections of courses. It's about 700 a piece at Skyline and CSM. Kenyatta's a little smaller, so maybe it's closer to 2,000, but that's a lot of sections still to choose from. I think your other question was the percentage of students that transfer to higher education institutions. Well, you know, it's funny. So, you know, transfer is a key component of our mission. And certainly as a former Kenyatta College student, that's the route I took. But not all of our students are interested in that. And in fact, the majority of our students are actually going for career upgrades and, you know, to earn an AA degree or a certificate. What's really interesting is the ones that get bachelor's degrees that come back to us for training in a specific field. So anyway, but I would say that on average, and this is, I don't have the statistics, but I'm using, you know, some old brain cells here. It's roughly about a quarter of our students usually transfer out of our institutions, that and the other, you know, 50 or 75%, I should say, are looking for other, are there for other reasons.
Right, they're getting an education. It's not all about going to a four-year either. I mean, they can get enough to go on to do what they want at the JC, more than enough. Right.
Yeah. Well, my favorite story was a family friend of ours who went off and got his four-year degree and had a great experience, but really wanted to be a firefighter. And they didn't teach him how to put fires out at you know, his college, but we do.
You do.
And he's now a firefighter with North County Fire. Right. You know, and he went through our fire tech program.
Right.
Those are the kinds of stories we love to tell.
Right. You have the
best of both worlds.
And you have the police academies up there too. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, you had a third question on that. I can't remember what it was.
I think you covered it. I think you did a great job of covering them all. Great.
Okay, got it.
So if there's one thing that you would like to shine a light on about the San Mateo Community College District, what would that be?
Yeah. So, you know, I think there's so much I could say, but I think that what I would want to convey to people is our relentless pursuit of a high quality education for students. I speak a lot to PTAs. I love speaking to parents and parent teacher groups because I can speak to them as a parent of community college students. And my children were transferred to selective universities, and you know, I won't get them out of my house right now to come tell you, but they were so well prepared. And I know that's anecdotal, but we have data that backs that up as well. Not only specific to our district, but really across the entire community college spectrum. Our community college transfer students do extraordinarily well after they transfer. So we're very focused on quality. And the other thing that I'm most proud of, and I've kind of touched upon it already, is just kind of this relentless pursuit of making sure that we are doing everything, of understanding who our students are, meeting them where they're at in their life circumstances, because many of them are coming to us with difficult life circumstances. We always say, we have students that are one flat tire away from dropping out of college because they don't have money to get their car fixed. It's not necessarily true right now in this COVID era, but they may not have the technology they need to complete college. So we have so many students that we're their only option. And we are so focused on trying to understand that student experience. And then whatever we can do within our power to help those students navigate and negotiate through some of those challenges, that's what we're really about. We are really a student-focused institution, and that's true of all 3 of our campuses.
Okay, well, thanks again, Mike, for being on Take Notice.
Great.
And again, congratulations on a well-deserved appointment to Chancellor of the community colleges of San Mateo. And I know at this time, these are very challenging times for everybody, but in particular, I think, education, and trying to recreate that whole model of education, be able to still meet the needs of our students. But after talking to you today, I have full confidence in CSM and all of the 3 colleges in the community college district. So thanks again, Mike. And again, this is Take Notice. I'm Dan Lawson. And please, everybody, be healthy, be happy, and be safe.